Remember what happened in 1948, the presidential election? Yeah, Dewey did not beat Truman, but all the newspapers said he did, and also so did the TV stations. 1948 was the first televised election night, and two things went wrong. One, they made the wrong call, and two, it was incredibly boring. If you go and watch the election coverage from 1948, it'll make you weep because it's the cutest thing. It's like cameras on empty podiums, and like you overhear voiceover saying like, "What time is it now, Fred?" Like nobody has any idea what to do, how to make it interesting. So CBS had this great idea. They're like, "Oh, we'll get people to watch election night because we'll have a computer," and then they also don't know what to do with it. It was charming then. But think about the degree to which the technological urgency of Sputnik in 1958 begins to drive how much investment the federal government makes into the kinds of technology that is now in your back pocket. And that we expect should be unregulated by the federal government, as if your iPhone wasn't built by the federal government. Your iPhone was built by the federal government with a lot of ingenuity from Apple. But this turn to this sort of STEM life begins really in 1957 with this new panic that the particular Atlas-like obligation and burden of the United States is less a political one than a technological one, and that our efforts should be directed at, these are MIT engineers who, rest assured, will save the world here. That's a very unsettling notion of order, right? That we are all just bits in a giant machine. And by the 1960s, aesthetically, you see a new generation of challenges. This melty, groovy, incredibly unsettling, and also beautiful Jasper Johns map of the United States. Very different from the political maps we've seen before. Maps become a whole source of political protest as the nation divides over the Vietnam War. During the civil rights movement as well. So there's a whole different generation of the use of the map. The iconography of the flag takes on a different role in the 1960s and 70s as well, one that augurs the situation we're in today. The great change in the 1970s, of course, is the first photographs of the world, of the planet from space, which are really integral part of the environmental movement. But the challenge of this photography, of course, is not met by the political order, which fails to address fully the problems that are identified by environmentalists, beginning in the 1950s, really.